Good morning. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Mary. Now, before we begin today's program, I want to take a moment to remember someone very, very special to many of us in the aviation and travel industry here in Barbados. Mrs. Barbara Weeks, who sadly passed away on Friday morning. Mrs. Weeks was a former area manager of BWIA, now defunct, and also served as a manager at the Caribbean Aircraft Handling in Barbados. Now, she made an incredible contribution to the airline and aviation industry and touched the lives of many, many people throughout her years of service. She was professional, kind, respected, and truly dedicated to her work and the people around her. What makes this especially difficult for me is that Mrs. Weeks and I shared birthdays just days apart. Hers on the 3rd of May and mine on the 7th, shortly after hers. And every year I would call her to wish her happy birthday. This year, sadly, I was a bit late and only received the news on Friday evening that she had passed that very morning. So today, I extend heartfelt condolences to her husband, Lionel, her children, grandchildren, the extended family, friends, especially her BWIA family with whom she shared so many years of service and memories. May her soul rest in peace and may her legacy continue to live in the lives that she has impacted. I also want to recognize that this is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is extremely important that we acknowledge the significance of mental health because it affects so many of us, even those who may appear strong, smiling, laughing, and carrying on every day. I can say personally that there are moments that cannot always be explained. Sometimes people see the smile, but do not see the silent struggles behind it. And because of that, I want to encourage everyone, anyone who may be facing emotional or mental challenges to reach out, speak to someone, and know that help is always available for them. You do not have to carry this and everything alone. Now, this morning, I'm honored to welcome a very special guest, Ms. Rhasheda Skeete. Rhasheda Skeete is an operations consultant and founder of Connect the Dots Media Agency, a boutique agency built to help small business owners stop winging it and start running businesses that actually work. With over 15 years of experience across operations, social media strategy, and systems development, she has evolved from a solo virtual assistant into a strategic agency leader, working with founders across Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and beyond. Known for her no fluff, and I can guarantee you I've heard her with no fluff, big system meets boardroom approach. Rashida helps entrepreneurs move from reactive and overwhelmed to intentional and in control. A proud Barbadian, a mother of two, she is the woman in the room who sees what everyone else is missing and connects the dots to prove it. Good morning to Rashida and welcome to Keeping It Real with Mary.
Good morning, Mary.
Happy Mother's Day. It might have gone, but it is still onward for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I am so glad to have you. I've been following your little pet talks, and I do find them very intriguing and very helpful.
Good.
And I really, it inspires one to kind of say, hmm, she's speaking truth there. And
Right.
it says to me that there's more out there, and there are a lot of persons who are not in link with some of the things that you're actually highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came across you, I don't surf the net, I surf IG.
Okay.
So I tend to gravitate to powerful, empowering individuals. I
Okay.
don't want to leave out the men. They do have men out there that do
They are.
empower as
They
well.
are.
But it seems because we have a little weight on the seesaw that, we have 95% women and 5% men.
5% men.
So
Yes.
it is something that we know as women we have tried to change because,
We have.
we are the
We
ones
try to
who have
encourage.
to provide
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
population.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we have to tend to do a lot more work in that sense. However, give us a little tidbit about yourself, since that's what we do here at Keeping It
Okay.
Real, and
Okay.
tell us where your origins are from, and then we're going to go into a bit of your business so that we get a feel for Rasheda.
No problem. Well, as I would have mentioned in my bio, I am this is the job that I love the most, and that's being a mom. I am a mother of a 21-year-old and an 8-year-old boy. Boys, I'm a boy mom. So the strength there is definitely something that I pull from motherhood. I am a very tenacious, bold, strong female who has a knack for business from very young. I though I've worked in the corporate space for about 20 years, I always marched to the beat of my own drum and I was always very mouthy. So I knew, well, from Erdison Primary as head girl, I always heard that I was talkative and bossy. So I knew those things on my report from 10, 11 years old would put me in a space where I would talk a lot and I would run a business. So I am someone who is very operations geared, very system structured. I am a proud Barbadian woman who thinks that Bajan businesses have so much to offer once they are given the support that they need. I am the proud daughter of a Comamarian, and he is a stalwart at the Christchurch Foundation School, was Mr. Fernando Skeete. Um, and very privileged to still have both my parents and enjoy getting to see them within their older years and still having to be able to access them and being loved by them and love them. So I am just a woman who believes that businesses have a place. Small businesses need support, just like the big businesses. I believe in living life, speaking your truth, and enjoying every second that you're here.
Are looking at Rashida. Now, I like to start from the bottom.
Mhm.
I'm very happy you brought the school concept here.
Yeah.
Um, Combamirian. I too have family that would have been
Yes.
Combamirians, but I don't want to touch the Combamirian, or as they would say, Calmere.
Oh,
I
Mir.
want to know, where did little Rashida go to primary and then on to secondary? Let's start there a little bit.
Sure. I am an Erdison girl. I went to Erdison Primary School. I was the head
Hmm.
girl at Erdison Primary, and then I went
Oh,
on to Christchurch
is it
Foundation.
this? Is
Yeah,
it
it's this.
this? Yes, it's this. Yes, yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
was the head girl at Erdison Primary, and then
Hmm.
I went on to do my secondary schooling at the Christchurch Foundation School.
Oh, you went when it was um, integrated with boys.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes. Andre Major Parker.
Yes, yes, yes. We
Yes.
gotta separate that a bit
Yeah,
because a
not the
lot of
Christchurch,
people
not the
don't know
Christchurch
the
girls'
history.
school. Yeah, because it was
Right.
Christchurch Foundation Girls and Christchurch Foundation Boys, and then it came together as one. So I went in when it was mixed. Yes.
Beautiful. Why I do that is because some people who might be watching younger in comparison to
Hmm.
the older folks might not know
Correct.
that Christchurch Foundation has a history.
It really
And
does.
I had the opportunity. Well, my daughter does pan with one of the music teachers there, who is well
Hmm.
known, Laurie
Lori.
Worrell,
Hmm.
and
Lori went to school with me. He was
yes,
a year above me at school.
and he's actually a phenomenal musician, I must
Fantastic
say,
musician. From very
phenomenal.
young, he had a knack for instruments, and I'm glad that he's stuck in that lane. He's always been really, really good.
Yeah, while the brothers are on to books and talking.
Yeah, Corey.
A lot of people don't know that he's actually a twin.
Hmm.
So it's quite interesting, and they're fraternal. They don't really look alike.
Yeah, they
Um,
don't.
no. So what was your time at Foundation like? Tell
Oh
us.
wow. I was a teacher's kid because my father taught while I was there.
Oh, you were
So
opportune.
yeah, I was a teacher's kid, and that comes with a lot of pressure. Don't get me wrong. My
Yes.
father was the cool dad. He was the industrial arts teacher, and
Hmm.
everyone loved Mr. Skeete. So he was that teacher that listened. He was like the father figure to a lot of foundation students, especially boys. So as a teacher's kid and as a girl, I was off limits because, I was Mr. Skeet's daughter. School was interesting for me because, and I say this now, I would like to go back to school where there's less responsibilities and more free will. But school for me was a space that I literally just saw it as something that I needed to get through. I needed CXCs to move on. I did not enjoy school, if I'm being very transparent. I didn't like school, but I did what I had to do what I had to do. So it was an enjoyable time. I've always been a lone wolf. I had friends, I had extracurricular activities I was involved in, but I just really liked my own company from very, very young. So I stayed to myself, especially that I was Mr. Skeet's daughter. So I really couldn't afford to get into any trouble because I was a teacher's kid. So my time at school was really interesting, quiet, fun. If I could change life right now, I would go right back. I'm not. It was just an easier time compared to now. And to think when I was in fourth and fifth form, I really wanted to be an adult. I wanted to be an adult so bad.
Most
Oh, if I could take
most
that
of
back.
us.
Because foundation had a career day that we would switch with our teachers. So the teachers would wear the uniforms
Hmm.
and be students, and then the
Hmm.
students would teach. And I looked forward to that because I got
Hmm.
to wear some of my mother's working clothes. I was in heels. I
Mm.
felt very adultish. I would like to
Hmm.
not. I would like to go back where I didn't have bills and responsibilities. My responsibility was going to school and getting there on time. But yeah, my life at Foundation under Major Barker, fantastic principal, strict, firm, and fair. He was, as
Hmm.
much as he was really stoic because of his military background, he was also
Yes.
very warm. He was like a grandfather to all of us, looked out for
Yes.
all of us, tried to know us by name. And he could
Hmm.
imagine you going through hundreds of students and you can know them by name, whether they're bad behavior or good behavior. He just
Yes.
made sure that he understood and appreciated our individuality. And I really, really enjoyed my time at Foundation School just because of the culture, the teachers. I had great teachers, great experiences, great sports days, fantastic school life I had at Foundation.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. So your takeaway from that to any other child who just sat the 11 plus and they're fortunate to pass for Christchurch Foundation,
for sure.
what would you say to them when they go through those doors for the first day?
Well,
It's
I
changed. It
it
has
has to, I was
changed.
going to
So,
say, it's not the same that it used to be. I know some of the teachers that taught me are still there, which shows a
hmm,
level of dedication. So one
hmm,
thing I know for sure, you're going to get dedicated staff at the Christchurch Foundation School. There's an air up there that is incomparable, and I know
hmm.
most other secondary schools would probably say the same thing, but there
Yes,
is
I
just.
would. I
Yes,
would.
yes, I
Yes.
know. It's okay. But I can share from my experience. There is an air in the Christchurch Foundation School walls that is something that you will never forget.
Hmm.
You are going to a place that is wrapped in history We've had some very historic individuals come out of that hall, come out of those walls,
Yes.
come off of
Mm-hmm.
those fields. Your
Mm-hmm.
experience is yours, though. You are going to make it the best that you can be when you start your learning experience through the Christchurch Foundation School.
Right.
The teachers can only help you as much as you help yourself. So you have to
And
be
of
open, prepared, ready, and
yes.
willing to learn and take in everything that you can experience there.
Correct. Oh, that's beautiful, Rashida. I love
Thank
that
you.
because one of the things that I found when I actually started my show, program, podcast, whatever people call it, um,
Mhm, mhm,
we delve into our guests' historic background.
mm.
Historic might sound a little oldish, but really and
Old.
truly, to give the person the opportunity to show their path, their journey as to where they
True.
would have started from.
Mhm.
And I found that you've got every individual that came from different demographics, and of course to understand the reasoning with your school. It's a
Yeah.
building, yes, it has a name, but when you go into that compound, you're going in there for something. You're going in there with purpose. So at the
Mhm.
end of the day, when you go to school, as you said rightfully, you have to
Mhm.
go in prepared
For
because it's
sure.
all about learning and starting to set your goals for the future.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
I'm a Springer girl, of
Oh,
course.
beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
I
Springer girls
always
were always Springer and Foundation girls got along well. We were
always
rivals in netball for sure. Y'all never gave us a break in netball, but we fought
I still
valiantly
I still
every
think we
time.
don't.
And we don't. Springer always turned out a really, really beautiful set of females that were strong willed,
Yes.
really
Yes.
athletic, really determined.
And
But one thing
I,
I'll say about school is I think our young people seem to forget how quickly time passes. You will go into
yes.
school as this doe-eyed, deer-eyed first former, and before you blink, you're in third form having to pick
Therefore,
subjects for your senior school. So I think
yes.
our young people need to really be more focused, be more aware, and set
Mm-hmm.
your goals from
Mm-hmm.
early. And don't think that goals can't change. Life is fluid. You're not a
That's
tree.
correct.
You can
That's
change.
true.
You may. I
That's
remember
correct.
when I was in secondary school, I was hell bent I was going to be a chemist. My
Mm-hmm.
grandfather worked at Mobile, and
Mm-hmm.
when I told him I was like, "Granddad, I want to be a chemist," he brought home the entire Bunsen burner, all the tubes. I had a full Dexter's laboratory in my yard. But then it dawned on me,
I
Rashida,
hope it didn't blow up anything.
I didn't get there because of this realization. I was like, but Rashida, if you do chemistry, you have to do maths. And sis did not like maths at
Oh,
all. And I was like, oh,
me
well,
neither.
no, we're not doing that anymore. And I mean, I
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
was into chemistry. I loved chemistry, but then I realized, oh, but hold on. We're going to have to do chemistry. We got to do physics and we have to do maths. No, we don't
Oh
like maths. No, we do not
no.
like mathematics at
Mm-mm.
all. So my
I
little
think
Bunsen burners, and granted, that's almost over 20 years ago. My father still has them. Huh? My father
okay.
still has that chemistry set in the box, and it has
Kudos to him.
Rashida's chemistry set on it. Still has it. But our young people have to have and dream from early
Yes.
and dream
Yes.
big.
Yes.
School is the safety net where you're allowed to dream and make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and change your
Mm-hmm.
mind, and it molds you at school then to put you into the world that you can then be like, okay, I need to stand on my own feet.
Mm-hmm.
Is our Could our school structures be a little different to prepare them for the reality of the world? Absolutely. But
Mm-hmm.
it is still the institution where you are allowed to make mistakes, is where you embrace failure. School is the
Yes.
first environment where you embrace failure. You will fail subjects, you will fail friendships, you will fail at sports,
Mm-hmm.
and it will prepare you for life and the failures that are bound to come in life. Because if you can get through school failures, where school children are very mean, you
Mm.
can get through anything.
Yep.
So,
Yes. Yes. That's powerful. Those are powerful words, Rashida. Very, very powerful. Now, having touched on your pet talk just now,
mhm.
tell us how you got into your version of being your own boss based on your connect the dots. And of course, your empowerment, how you empower these young or middle age entrepreneurs
Seasoned. I call them
into,
seasoned,
yeah. Let's
seasoned.
call ourselves seasoned into becoming what they want to be and moving forward in a positive way, and how they make their contributions within the communities and the society itself.
We have to go back to foundation school, and I first got my touch of entrepreneurship through an accounts project that I had. We had to sell something and manage a business, so I went in and I started selling cookies. And I fell in love with the whole concept of making money and reinvesting money and making more money, reinvesting money again. And it grew from there. Fast forward, I did the thing that you're supposed to do. You leave school, you go to work, you do a few courses here and there because, like I mentioned earlier, I hated school. So I didn't go off to university, I didn't go off to BCC, but I did a plethora of short courses at the University of the West Indies open campus. So I've worked in several areas. I've been a event and conference planner. I've worked in sales. I've worked at medical universities. I have a wealth of experience and knowledge, and I'm also very defiant. So I walked away from a job, and in that moment, I was like, I'm not working for anybody ever again in life. And I Googled what stay-at-home moms did in the US to make money, and virtual assistants popped up. And I was like, what's this? And I went down the rabbit hole of what virtual assistants was. And that was where my first business started, which was the virtual assistant. I provided remote administrative support because back then it wasn't really a lot of social media. It was just Facebook pages. And I provided remote administrative services to business owners. And, it was something that everybody needed. Documents prepared, invoices typed and emailed, email boxes cleaned up, and over time, in 10 years, it grew. But like any new, really excited business owner, reality hit me, and so did the rent. And I needed to go back out to work. So I went back out to work and had my business on the side, and it kind of just grew from there. Social media blew up, and we had Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and I familiarized myself with those platforms, and I managed those platforms for persons. And then I got burnt out. I was doing everything myself, so I then pivoted from the virtual assistant to an agency called Connect the Dots. And Connect the Dots is spelt with a KIN to hone in on the kin and kindred, because I believe as business owners, we all could come together as family and work together once we are supportive of each other. So that's kind of like a 10-year history of my business, from a virtual assistant now to an operations consultant agency owner. And where I pivoted my personal brand into operations is I like to see how the back end of stuff works. And I work with business owners to make sure that their back end is secure so they can lead comfortably and less chaotic from the front. So it was a cookie project from foundation school that got me into being a business owner. And here we are 10, 15 years later.
Wow, those cookies must have tasted very good. I didn't get any.
Listen, they were Pillsbury Doughboy cookies that my mom, we sat and we realized at one point we were making them too big, so we weren't making enough money, so we had to make them a little smaller so we can maximize on each roll. And I remember
Mm,
one day I didn't come with cookies because I was studying for an exam, and I had about 10 people at the gate, like, Rashida, with the basket, because I had this little basket where the cookies would be in. And they were like, Rashida, with the basket. I was like, I didn't do any cookies today. You need to go back home. I said, I can't. And there's no cell phones at that time. So I go on the payphone and I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, like, we got like 15 people, 20 people want cookies. My mom baked the cookies and brought them for me. And
wow.
customers got cookies, which goes back into something when I mentioned about kindred and family. Like, if you have
Right.
support and you have someone who can be there for you, like, to just fill the gaps that you may need as a business owner. Mom got in the
Mhm.
kitchen, packed those cookies, baked them, brought them. They were still warm. And she got there with the basket. I went up to the canteen. Before lunch was done, mom had brought, like, I think she did about 40 bags. All those bags were gone. I had teachers buying cookies, students buying cookies
Yes.
for their parents. And when I got a touch of that, I was like, oh, I like this. I passed my
Hmm.
accounts project with the
Exactly.
business. And
Right.
it really gave me a taste of making, of what I guess a side hustle of making, because that was my money. Like I would turn over what I needed to turn over in the cookies. I'd pay my mom because she helped me, and then the rest was mine. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a first taste as like at like 15, 16 of what providing a service or a product and making money felt like. So it that's where the bug started.
Wow. I mean,
Hmm.
that is so interesting. And to see now that they even have the $20 challenge that
Right?
go for these young people. I encourage
Yes.
my daughter to participate in that as well.
Mm.
Actually, I think my cousin just won something with that. Iobami Leon Barker. She has
Oh,
something blends. Some
okay.
um what you call it, one of these drinks that if you exercising
Oh,
and stuff, you drink one of those.
yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
she is into that kind of entrepreneurship, because
Yes.
she
And
started
I'm
with the
glad.
$20 challenge. And it's nice to see young people seeing this as an
Definitely.
avenue, not just a
Definitely.
collar and tie, lawyer, teacher,
For
doctor.
sure.
There's so many things out there like yourself and myself where we can brand ourselves and start
Yes.
something and it
Yes.
would grow. I mean, everybody thinks that things grow like that, but it
Right?
doesn't work that way. It has
Of
to
course.
start from the bottom and
Mm-hmm.
gradually increase. I remember when we started, it was March, well, during COVID, because
Mm.
everybody was now online and everybody
Yep.
was watching this and watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to a point that it was myself and a friend of mine. We were sitting down watching our usual morning programs, which was
Right.
Good Morning America.
Uh-huh.
And these two young ladies started something online. And I
Mm.
just said to him, I said, listen, if they can, I can too. And he said,
Correct.
sure.
Correct.
And you just start to think, where do you want to go? It's all right to sit down and talk, but where do we want to go with it? So I said
Yep.
to him, you know something? Let's talk to our brothers and sisters. Let's get people engaged,
Mm-hmm.
because the mind was starting to settle into those dark places.
Of course.
And I remembered we were talking at a point and we heard that someone had jumped off the Princess ship, because Barbados was the only person within the region that had given an arm to people from outside of our area.
Yeah.
And that was to allow the ships to stay out um, on the coast and give them the opportunity to come and buy food, because they weren't being allowed to go home or go into
Right.
their own ports. You remember
Right.
that?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
and I remembered that a passenger, if I can't remember if it was the passenger or an employee, who had
Mm-hmm.
actually um, committed suicide by jumping off the
Mm.
ship.
Okay.
And that brought reality to me. And I said, wow,
Yeah.
you know, um, I had just been made redundant from my company.
Mm-hmm.
All of us, actually, because we were
Mm-hmm.
from the travel industry. And,
Mm-hmm.
travel had stopped. Nobody was
Right.
flying, nobody was
Right.
cruising. And it was like, oh my God, where am I going to go? What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to revamp, you had to sit and think, okay, where am I going to go now? What can I contribute? Who is going to look at me? And then
Mm-hmm.
age played a big part to a lot of us, because that pie of individuals who would have
Right.
been working at that time would have been
Mm-hmm.
between the late 30s into the 60s. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who were grappling and looking to migrate to the islands or go overseas to the different countries, where they figured, okay, you need nurses, you need doctors, let's get out
Yeah.
there and see what we can do.
What's happening? Mm-hmm.
It changed the trajectory for a lot of us. Small businesses started at home, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people then accepted the delivery concept, the YouTubing and the TikToking, and
Mm-hmm.
all these different things started to grow based on the fact that we all had to be indoors at home and not
Right.
socializing.
Mm-hmm.
And that social excuse me, that socializing aspect really was difficult for a lot of persons who are
Yeah.
so accustomed being on the
Outside.
outside.
Yeah.
So I understood what it felt like, and I missed my friends and, you know, talking with my family overseas and visually seeing them.
Right.
And the idea of, okay, let's keep it real came to
Mm-hmm.
me. And I said, you know something? You know me, I'm always keeping it real. And
Right.
my girlfriends would be laughing and saying, Mary, girl, you're nuts. You know, you always like to keep it real. So they
Mm-hmm.
always said that to me. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the birth of
This is how
keeping
this
it
is
real
born.
with Mary. So it
Yeah.
shows the same way how we can connect the dots and
Yep.
your concept
Mm-hmm.
in how you are helping others to gravitate, or how to maneuver within their businesses, that it's important that not only do they try to learn how to maneuver, but they also have to learn to connect with others within the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your various seminars and talks that you have, you excuse me, you would do even more. Like
Mm-hmm.
me, I would push you, because I think what you talk about, as you rightfully said this morning, should be shared with the young ones, the little
Yeah,
ones, and
for sure.
gravitate to the secondary school children.
Mm-hmm.
Because hearing it from you visually and on point, they would then realize to say, "Oh, Miss Skeete, what she's saying is true."
Mm-hmm.
Because I might want to be a teacher today, but tomorrow, I might want to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
What do I
And
do
there's
when
room
they
for
do
both.
that?
There's room for both, and they're not encouraged to do both, but you should. Um, I feel like I parented a boy from very young. I had my son at 20, 21, right? So he and I kind of grew up together.
Hmm.
And though this world is structured differently from males and females.
Yes, it is.
And boys endure and have to deal with a lot more simply because of their biological makeup, simply because they're men. Their
Yes.
their spaces are easily judged. They're not given as much grace. And I remember when I was and he went through COVID at a crucial time of his social maturity where
Mm,
he had to do his CSCs online. And between 14 and 16, 17, I think our younger boys really do come into their own and learn, who they are, what they want. And I remember sitting down asking him, saying, what do you want to do? The typical question a mother would ask their son, what do you want to do now that school is coming to an end? And he said, Mom, I don't know. Now there's part of me that was like, well, how do you know? How you don't know? Like how you don't know what you want to do? Like by now, you should know what you want to do. But why? He genuinely did not understand or know or fathom a direction to go. But there was no one really giving him any idea as to like what were the options. The option for him as a boy is you learn a skill, you learn a trade, you go to UE, you go to SJPI, you go to BCC. What if he wanted to learn a sport? What if he wanted to do baking? What if he wanted to? He genuinely didn't know. Um, and I feel like as younger people, as the seasoned generation, um, we should be providing those conversational spaces for young people to one be okay not knowing specifically what they want in a in a space, and two knowing that they can try multiple things before they really know specifically what they want to do. It is okay to be multifaceted. It is okay to be multifaceted and layered. There's nothing wrong with you going to several lanes to see what you like and what you can make money from. Nothing wrong with that at all.
correct, correct. I agree with that, because for me, I remember growing up, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But then I realized most of my family members worked in the airline industry,
Right.
and I was afraid of flying. Believe you
No,
me,
it's
I
interesting.
used to cry when my father put me by the window. I'm bawling. And I remember a time he did what we would call a jump seat. If people don't know a jump seat, meaning that they would ask the captain if they can ride in the cockpit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity of doing that with my dad. And when I went up there, you're sitting behind the pilots and you're like seeing these clouds. And I told somebody the
Mm-hmm.
other day, I swear blind the clouds was cotton. It
That's
looked
how
like
they look.
cotton to me.
That's how they look. It's true. That's why
Right?
we would use cotton in our projects to depict clothes because it really does look
It
like a
looked like
cotton ball. It
cotton.
really, really
Yeah.
does.
So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, I really don't know what I want to do. In that event, I realized Barbados had something that draws people. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, this is an interesting place because I'm originally not from Barbados. So I'm like,
Okay. Okay.
this is nice. And then you see the beach because I left Martinique and the beaches
Mm.
in Martinique is nothing like the beaches in Barbados.
I
And I'm
see.
saying, oh, it's crystal blue.
Clear.
Look at the
Yeah.
sand. And then
Yeah.
you're seeing all these people walking on the beach and you're wondering, what are they here for? Then
Right.
you started to understand what Barbados was about, the
Mm-hmm.
history, the culture. I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn the dialect
The
because if
dialect.
I'm
Yep.
speaking a
Yep.
different language, I'm
Yes.
there telling my grandmother, je veux de l'eau. And she's, what you want? And it's like, okay, I gotta
Yes.
take her to the fridge and say, Gran, I want water, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So cultures, the norms,
Mm-hmm.
your what do you all call it? Your sayings,
Yeah.
when you say um something longer than twine, or
Yeah.
you can't take a
Time longer
six
than
for a
twine.
nine,
Yep.
all these
Mm-hmm.
things you had to learn as it's a
Mm-hmm.
culture and
Mm-hmm.
norms, going to church on a Sunday, three Sunday schools. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, these things taught me this is your Barbadian culture, which
Yes.
became
Yes.
mine. And as time progressed, I said to myself, it's interesting. I could tell people these stories. So
Right.
then you started to realize you played a part in tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to have a love for tourism. And then I started to have a love for flying. So
Mm.
I not only learned in tourism that, like your business, you
Mm-hmm.
have to connect the dots.
Yes.
You've got you've got the person who meets the people on the ground
Mm-hmm.
handlers. You've got the immigration officer. You've got
Mm-hmm.
customs. Then you have the taxi, the hotel, and it all grows and builds. So
Yeah.
eventually, I started to teach. So I started to teach not only the airline aspect, but I also started to teach the students the importance of playing your part for tourism and in tourism.
Of course.
And um, that's where my love for interacting and I'm using your acronym, connecting the
Mm-hmm.
dots,
Mm-hmm.
because I found it important that people realize that we all play a role in tourism,
Yeah.
and we have to understand the importance of each other. So, what you do, I have to highly commend you, Rashida, because you need people, more people like yourself,
Thank
to
you.
show and guide not just the little ones, but sometimes to show the big ones what the little ones are doing and what they
Right.
too can achieve to make their mark to get to the top of the hill or the
For
top of the
sure.
mountain, because it
Mm-hmm.
is important that we join together and stop the, I always say, unfortunately, the crab mentality that
Crabs in the
we have in
barrel.
Barbados. Yeah.
I spoke about it in one of my videos.
Yes.
It's very unfortunate. It doesn't feel like it genuinely does not feel like we like to see each other
Other,
succeed,
no, no, it
right?
doesn't.
That
It doesn't.
video, and I'm figuring it is I'm tired being poor video is where you found me. That struck a nerve for a lot of people, because
Mm-hmm.
of the word poor.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to understand that the high percent of us are very close to the poverty line.
Yes, we
Like
are.
if you lose your job, if and people do not associate poverty with a 9 to 5, but it very much is entrenched in a 9 to 5 mindset. Because if
It
you
is.
lose your job
Mm-hmm.
today, if that business
Mm-hmm.
decides, listen, I'm pulling out of Barbados, this isn't safe for me anymore, we are going to
Mm-hmm.
close and give you severance, and that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
now have a very set of money that you have to pay your mortgage, feed your family, pay your insurance, eat,
Pay
whatever.
for the
That
car,
will run out,
medicals. Yeah.
right? So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people have become complacent, uncomfortable on a a check coming in. No, don't get me wrong. I will never knock some person for working. My 20 years in corporate is what built the systems and the discipline that I have to be a businesswoman. I learned
Yes.
a lot from the corporate space.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know what it is to be dependent on one check, and then
Uh-huh.
that check dries up.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know what it
Mm-hmm.
is to have to wait on an unemployment check from NIS that
Ha.
takes forever to come through,
Here's your sister. Here's your sister.
right? I know what
Mm-hmm.
it is to
Mm-hmm.
have to beg my landlord for a ease, because not that I don't want to pay you, but I genuinely just waiting on the unemployment to come.
Light and
Now, had
power,
I,
water,
right? So you got to be sending emails to the
to
companies
service
asking for
providers.
extensions,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and instead of us coming together and saying, okay, you're good at social media, I'm good at accounting. I have a camera, I take really good pictures. I
Mm-hmm.
have I have a wall in my cafe shop that I can promote stuff. I have a space, and we come together as people and
Yes.
create a space
That's right.
that we can break bread, bounce ideas, have conversation. They exist, but they exist in a space of who know who and who rub shoulders with
No,
who.
there's with whom.
Is
Yes.
not just accessible to the person who dreams of creating a really good candle, but they
Yes.
have no space to
Mm-hmm.
talk about
Mm-hmm.
fears, to learn about how to manage money, to understand content pillars in marketing, to see the benefits of email marketing, to bounce ideas off of other candelayers who may be doing it before them, but they have a vendor that provides jars, how to get wicks. Like, we do not have spaces
Yeah.
where we can cohabitate and help each other.
Yes. Yes.
So when I
Yes.
talked about tired being poor, and I talked about the journey of where entrepreneurship took me, and it's still taking me, because this rebuild is happening in real time.
Real
I'm
time. That's
still
right.
trying to figure out pricing, and I'm hosting an event at the end of this month called Co-work on Cocktails, and I'm still getting people asking me, well, how you could be talking about being poor and doing an event. I still have people asking me that question.
But
This is
it's
a
their
core.
mentality
It's the
because the word,
mentality,
it, how many letters it got? POOR, 4 letters.
right?
And
It's a
I suppose you would
triggering
have,
word.
it has to be that you have to understand poor, perplex, overbearing. What's the other one? Um, you got to find another word for that. Or
And an
uh,
R.
you have to have resilience.
We
It doesn't make sense to them because that 4 letter word only stigmatizes it to money. They don't realize that you
that's
can
what I
be
was about to
poor
say.
in love, you
Yep.
can be
Poor
poor
in
in house,
mindset.
you can be poor in clothes,
Yes.
poor in mindset. It
Poor in
it
mindset.
it's poor in a lot of things. And
Yep.
if you don't have the support, it even makes you poorer.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about money support only. We're talking about that arm that used to be there to lift you. Because if you had that, regardless of if you had that $10 only in your pocket and you had
Yes.
someone around coming to give you sugar, some rice, some salt, some juice, maybe
Hmm.
something, or breadfruit or sweet
Hmm.
potato, you wouldn't be poor. You
Right.
would be happy.
It's true. I was glad you mentioned COVID, because Barbados only survived COVID on the backs of small businesses. I said that with my
Ah,
chest. I said off
yes,
my full chest. It is
yes.
that corner shop, is that vendor, that person that
Mm-hmm.
was selling vegetables that got in somebody's car and delivered them. It was the egg man.
Yes.
It was the man that sold chicken. The
Mm-hmm.
small businesses of Barbados kept Barbados
Hospice
alive in COVID,
afloat. Yes, yes.
right?
I remembered when um we have there's something on Facebook called Baby Mums.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one page where you interact, but they have a page where you sell off all your baby stuff. So
Yes, yes,
remember, mummies are not working anymore and you have to
right?
find ways to get money. So you
Yep.
go on and put all the baby stuff on this page to get little
Mm-hmm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the item I sold, but this lady made contact with me,
Mm-hmm.
and she came and bought, I can't remember what it was. Anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking with me and everything. Mind you, the person who came and bought this item was not of that color.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't surprised because obviously I think the page was started by
It
those
was.
individuals.
Yeah, yeah.
And she came and bought the item,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was out with my daughter a morning, and I got a call from the husband. He says, a gentleman just dropped a bag of goodies here for you. Because remember, they were doing the island was doing
Mm.
this care
The
package,
care
the
package. Yes.
bags, right?
Yes.
And I'm there saying to myself, oh, who would this be that sent something? So when I got home and I opened this um, supermarket bag, it was a massy.
Yeah.
They used to give out these massy bags.
The massive
I
bag. Yeah.
sat down and cried.
Yeah.
All because the lady bought something from me and I was very kind to her and I spoke with her. And she was expecting her first child.
Mm-hmm.
And the husband was also a new entrepreneur on the making. And I said to myself, you see, it is how you treat people and how you
Of
speak
course.
to them,
Of
in that
course.
she just sent this bag. I never forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
Never forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so taken back when I told you, Rashida, I cried
Yeah. When I got
because
COVID, a
I
friend of
didn't
mine
expect it.
didn't expect it. And kindness, I wish we
It's an
were,
act. It's an
I wish
act.
that we were so accustomed to receiving kindness that it didn't like take us aback. And I think it's
Yeah.
because our community, we are not inherently kind to each other. And when
Nah.
people are kind to us, it feels like, oh my God. But kindness, as I tell people, I'm not nice, I'm kind. I'm not a nice person, I'm a kind person. I will take the
Hmm.
shirt off my back for you. But nice people tend to
Yes.
be walked over. I'm a kind person.
Yes.
I will give you my
Yes.
last meal. I will give you my last dollar, but you're not gonna nicely get it. You will
Yeah.
kindly get it. It's a big, big difference, right?
But it's
And
the mothering
I
in us, though. It's the mothering
of
in
course,
us. It's
of
the
course.
mothering in
So
us.
out of
Yes.
COVID, a lot of businesses were birthed out of COVID, but
Yes.
unfortunately, where they failed is the same thing that I was talking about. No one teaches us how to run businesses. We
Yes.
have a business element in secondary school where we do typewriting, which is now EDPM. We
Mm-hmm.
do accounts, but it's the old school
POB.
kind of accounts. We do POB, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very archaic teachings. Like
Yes.
businesses have evolved and the operation of business have moved from fax machines and photocopiers and typing. No, we have AI and Gemini. We
Yes.
got Google
Mm-hmm.
Suite. We got
Mm-hmm.
apps. We have to
And you got
update
the what co-pilot.
and
Don't
you
forget
have to
that one.
update your teaching tools because you are putting your students out there with archaic mindsets that they will struggle
Mm-hmm.
in this new age world. So we have to look at our syllabuses. We have to look at our tools. What are the books that we still teaching from? And I know if I go to Christchurch Foundation Library right now, I can find a book with my name in it. Which for me,
You too.
we need to look at those things. We need to look at the tools that are teaching our children. If we are
Yes.
still teaching our children about fax machines, when is the only place that uses fax machines is law offices and doctors' offices, which I still think is ridiculous, but they still use some level of faxing. But the
Mm-hmm.
everyday business space barely uses paper. We have to
Barely.
adjust our syllabuses now to teach our children about AI, to teach children about technology. We need to really bring home time management. We should have spaces teaching about discipline. Our children should have some
Yes.
level of agricultural project to teach them how to grow food. They have to
Yes.
understand these things from a school space. A
Mm-hmm.
school
Mm-hmm.
space. When we had COVID, I was the fittest I ever was. I worked out every day.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing else to do, so I exercised. So that I want to start raving mad with the four walls looking at me. I had to exercise, girl. I lost 35 pounds in COVID. I was very sexy.
You exercise and
I
I bake
exercised
bread.
every day. But let me tell you what came out of COVID. Me, my sister, and my cousin created a group on WhatsApp. Because
Mm-hmm.
what did WhatsApp do? WhatsApp pivoted to allow us to have video group calls. You see how things is
Yes.
grow out of adversity? WhatsApp was just
Definitely.
messaging, but people decide,
Yes.
look how Skype lost out on COVID. Look how Zoom blew Skype completely out of the water. Skype was a video
Yes.
communication years ahead of Zoom. But
That's
COVID
right.
came and Zoom pivoted quickly, which is an element
Yes.
of business that we need to understand. When you have an idea, speed is what makes you rich. You have to
Yes.
move quickly in
Quickly.
business, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
WhatsApp evolved and you could do group video calls. So we had my group call was called the Good Shut-ins. It was my oldest sister in Canada and my
Mm-hmm.
cousin in Brooklyn. We
Mm-hmm.
did
Mm-hmm.
we made bread together on
Mm-hmm.
video. We baked
Mm-hmm.
cookies together on video. We celebrated
Mm-hmm.
birthdays on video. We
Mm-hmm. My
celebrated
cousin
New
did
Year's,
that. Mm-hmm.
Christmas. We did a painting, a sip and paint on video. We
Mm-hmm.
became so close because we were each other's lifelines to not going crazy in COVID,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
And
But
listen,
it wasn't. We wasn't
Rashida, don't
physically in the
forget we
same
ain't had
room.
COVID only. We had
But
everything coming at us. We had the
everything.
ash. We had
The
the hurricane. Remember the ash? You remember the
The
ash
ash, I'm an asthmatic, so the ash had me in a
in a
chokehold for about
stick?
2 days. I could not breathe. Everything was coughing and wheezing. And I said in COVID, I said, I am a young filly. I am tired living in these historical moments and these historical events. I have enough historical events under my belt. I do not need any more. Bum the ash hit. I said, listen here. This is too much. A pandemic, ash, a hurricane, like
What
one more.
next?
What
Yeah.
next?
What
So
next?
I think unfortunately though, what we didn't take from COVID was the importance of fueling and giving our business owners and businesses structure.
Yeah.
Accessing finances in Barbados as a business owner is too difficult. Why can't I bring a job letter and a reference and go to a bank and get $50,000 unsecured for a car, but I employ people? I have a business and I employ people, but I have to give you half of my firstborn, my kidney, and all the other information to qualify for for money that could bootstrap my business to be stronger, to provide jobs for people. Yet you're wondering why
Yes.
young people aren't interested in doing anything because they don't feel supported.
Yes.
Everything feels hard
Yeah.
here.
Yes, it is. It is.
Everything
Whereas
feels hard here.
I can go overseas and do something that would just flourish in the blink of an eye.
You have
Quick,
banks
quick, quick,
sending
quick,
you
quick,
stuff
quick.
in the mail. You could get a pre-approved credit card for about $20,000 in
Yeah.
the mail. And I'm not saying that we have to have unrealistic financial behaviors and financial support from banks, but we need access.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need access to these things without it feeling like it is like it's going to take us 6 months to get back a response from these companies that are supposed to help us. We need access, and we also though need to support each other. We need to stop thinking, oh well, she capped, she prices, and now she gone and she buy a house. But I created the business to make money. I didn't create the business to stay within a bracket where you felt sorry for me to pay me. I created my business to make money to live. And if living means that I buy a house or I buy a car or I travel because of the money I've made because I provide you with a service, I don't see what the problem is. But we still have this poor mindset of you're supposed to stay this space only. You're not supposed to elevate from here because the minute you elevate from here, oh no, 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 you can't use my money to get rich or you can't use my money to do it's a sad space that we exist in as business owners on this little rock.
That that is very true, Rashida. And my God, I wish we could talk all morning. We went past my 30 minutes
I
because I
realize.
enjoyed my conversation. And let me tell you, I'm the boss and I rule the show and I like to
Of
keep it
course,
real.
of
I
course.
like to keep it real. And for those of you who didn't know, now you know. Rhasheda Skeete, Connect the Dots Media Agency,
Correct.
operations consultant.
Yep.
Now, Any information you folks need, you know that you can go on Mary's page. That is Keeping It Real with Mary, and see her information, because she knows that I'm going to have her plugged on me. Hey, and she knows that we would be in collaboration
For
on
sure.
some things I have on my mind.
Good.
Let me also remind those folks the Keeping It Real Women's Wellness Pajama Experience. If you ain't follow me from Usain Bolt to Blue Horizon, go there and check it out. It's
Mm-hmm.
June the 13th, Blue Horizon at 12 noon. We're going to be having Dr. Sandra Bino, the one and only Dr. Denise Charles, my favorite girl. You know what she likes to talk about, but she's going to be
Mm-hmm.
curving it a little bit, because we're going to be having Katrina Eiffel. She
Mm-hmm.
is going to be there talking about you know what.
Katrina's
Why we
really
gonna be
good.
talking all about these things? We talking about perimenopause and menopause. A discussion where women are suffering in silence.
Of
We
course.
want you to come out and listen to Dr. Bino, who is an advocate for perimenopause and menopause women, where she goes into the clinical aspect of how we are supposed to maneuver, why we are experiencing these things in our bodies. Of course, we also have Dr. Denise Charles, who really is the sex therapist, but she's going to
Mhm.
be talking to us from a point where we now have to understand ourselves and our partner as trying to maneuver this journey with us at that time. Well, you know, Katrina going to be talking about the sex aspect
Mhm.
for women,
Mhm.
to probably just show me a little bit as to how we could spruce it up a bit
Of
on
course.
the whole aspect of going through perimenopause and menopause. Rashida, extend that to some of your friends as well. You're
For
welcome to
sure.
come out and join us. There's a contribution, of course.
Mhm.
300 Barbados dollars gets you in. There's no payment at the door, of course.
Mhm.
And I heard you mention you have an event at the
I
end
do.
of this month.
I
Give us a
do.
little bit more details on that,
For
so that we can
sure.
also give you a plug, Rashida.
Definitely. So on the 31st of May, I'm having a really intimate event called Co-work and Cocktails. We're going to be hosting it at Sushimi by Salome, which is in the Price Law Complex on Sunday, May 31st from 4 to 6. The concept behind Co-work and Cocktails is just what it is. It's 10 spaces, 275 per person. And what that gives you is really good sushi from Sushimi by Salome, some cocktails that we're going to be having in house. It gives you 30 days free trial of a Bajan female generated profit app called the Profitable Pro app. I just received my certification in this app as a practitioner, and it is an absolute necessary tool in the business arsenal of any business owner to price their products or services profitably. And once you join on to this, once you come on and register for Co-work and Cocktails, you get a 30-day free trial of that app to test it out and see. And then we also have something called the hot seat, which is where you bring a problem that you may have been facing, whether it's marketing, financing, mindset, anything that you've been struggling with in your business, and you kind of talk about it in the moment, and we as a collective help you journey through that struggle that you may be having. So Co-work and Cocktails, as I mentioned, Sunday, May 31st. Oh, one other thing is the goodie bag initiative, where each person, whether you provide a service or a product, you bring a sample of whatever you do, 9 of them, and in our networking session, we're going to fill each other's goodie bags with whatever it is that we do, so we can do, collaborate over competition and really build community that way. So Sunday, May 31st, Sushimi by Salome in the Price Low Complex, 275 is your investment. 4 to 6 on a Sunday evening. Come out. Spaces are very limited for a reason, because we need specific founders, people who are ready to grow and stop being poor in that room to see this Profitable Pro app demonstration and to build community amongst each other.
Beautiful, beautiful, Rashida. Cocktail, co-workers and cocktail. I like that
So,
there.
work
But
and
I'll tell you
cocktails.
something else on that another time. 31st of May 2026,
That's
Price
right.
Low Complex,
Mm-hmm.
contribution
270.
275 per
That's right.
person. Don't miss it. Is it that beautiful place where my sushi girl is? I know who you're talking about.
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
follow everybody and I've had her sushi and it's
yes,
absolutely divine. And her cuisine, she's
yes.
kept that Caribbean flavor
In
within
there,
her sushi.
absolutely,
And
yes.
she does explain a bit so people differentiate between sushi and
Yep.
sashimi
And
because a lot of
sashimi.
people don't know.
Don't know
They
the
don't
difference.
know.
Of
Don't
course.
know.
For good
You'll
food,
never
good
know.
drinks.
She might be here keeping it real with Mary. I
Of
might have
course,
my
of
dish going
course.
like that.
Yes.
I'll be
And she has
doing
a
that.
beautiful restaurant. You could take it live in there. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. Beautiful space.
Food for thought, girl. I
Of
don't know if
course.
I'll be going to the beautiful space to do my show. I'll be sitting down eating.
Eat.
But thank you very much, Rashida. And I
Pleasure being
want
here,
to
Mary.
give
Thanks for
you
having
your
me.
star with Keeping It
Thank you.
Real with Mary, because anyone who comes on with me is one of our stars because you've
Thank you.
made your contribution. You continue to do your contribution to the society and the community.
Of
And
course.
folks, you know, as I said earlier, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Remember, call a friend, go pop by, take them some fruit, some mangoes or something. Make
Yeah.
sure you recognize them and remember them. Say to someone next to you, I love you. Remember, we're here to keep it real. Have a good evening and a good day and a good
Thank
week.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.